Hello and welcome to a brief video providing an overview and guide to your 2024-2025 ASEP communications. My name is Mark Olofsson and I am the Executive Director of Educator Data Research and Strategy. Our division is responsible for completing the calculations included in ASEP letters. This video is meant to be an aid in understanding the content of your letter. It is our hope that this video may address some of the questions that you may have about the structure and content of the letter. This year our team has updated our formal communications so that we communicate the EPP ASEP results and recommended status in one letter, and the results for certification classes and categories in a separate letter. This is based on feedback from the field and is intended to simplify the content of each letter. Let's first take a look at a sample ASEP results letter. At the top of the letter, you will see the contact information for the legal authority for your preparation program. The first paragraph states that this status will be the recommended status presented to the State Board for Educator Certification, or SBEC, on February 13, 2026. Highlighted on this letter is the recommended accreditation status. You can see for the sample preparation program that it is accredited probation. Other statuses may be accredited, accredited warned, or accredited no data. If the program has a status of accredited probation, there is also a notation highlighted here that names how many consecutive years this program has had a status of probation. This is important because a program that is on probation for 3 years is moved to revocation. This letter goes on to talk about the forthcoming processes and points to the attachments below which provide data about your status. This page of the letter ends with a value of the index score for your preparation program. As outlined in 19 TAC 229.4b, an index score greater than 85 leads to a recommended status of accredited, an index score from 80 to 84 leads to a recommended status of accredited warned, and an index score below 80 leads to a recommended status of accredited probation. The main body of the letter concludes with information about the data that was used in this evaluation. We also describe a new secondary evaluation that is conducted when there is a small group evaluation that used 2 or 3 years of data that did not meet the standard. This is described in detail in the ASEP manual. Finally, we encourage you to share these results as you determine appropriate within your EPP. Attachment 1 of the letter provides the calculated values at the all level and at the individual demographic group levels for all individual ASEP indicators. You can see in the top row that we have the column headers of the indicator, the total number of teachers or candidates who met the standard, the total number of teachers or candidates who were evaluated, and the percentage. And the top row of each indicator shows the performance standard for that indicator. The years of data that were evaluated for the indicator or demographic group, a column for information about any applicable secondary evaluation, a column to flag if the result is subject to the miss by one rule, and the final evaluation outcome. Here I have highlighted a row that has a value other than 1 in the years of data evaluated. As a reminder, when doing the small group aggregation, we evaluate the indicator once there are 10 or more candidates or once there are 3 years of non-zero data. You can see here that the small group aggregation procedure was performed for the other group, and that once 3 years of data were brought together, there are more than 10 candidates. For an additional example, for indicator 5, the small group aggregation was performed for the other demographic group, and that 3 years of data were included. This indicator was evaluated this year since even though there were 10 or fewer candidates. As noted, if the small group aggregation were performed and the aggregated group were to not meet the standard, TEA performs a secondary evaluation using only the current year of data. The results from this secondary evaluation are noted in the secondary evaluation column. While this outcome does not override the aggregated evaluation, if the secondary evaluation meets the standard, the count of years that the indicator has not met the standard does not advance. In this example, even though the EPP did not meet the standard for the other group for the past 2 years, since the secondary evaluation met the standard this year, and the final evaluation does not advance to year 3. Again, more information about this updated procedure is available in the ASEP manual. Please note that if your EPP does not have any values in this column, it means that it was not applicable, and that is the most common case. As a reminder, the miss by one procedure is also relatively new. Last year we started including a flag for it if the rule was used in that evaluation, and we continue that practice this year. For more information, again, please see the ASEP manual. Attachment 2 provides the specific index calculations for your preparation program. We have streamlined this attachment this year to remove duplicative information based on feedback. Table A provides the results for each indicator and demographic group. Table B provides the points earned in each box. This is generated by multiplying the performance value by the ASEP measure weight and the group weight. For example, this program met the standard, which is a value of 1, for the student growth measure, which has a weight of 3, for the all group, which has a weight of 6. 1 times 3 times 6 is 18, as you see here. Alternatively, this program did not meet the standard for the third consecutive year, a value of -1, for the principal survey, a weight of 1, for the African American demographic group, a weight of 1. -1 times 1 times 1 is -1. You can see that here. Table C contains the total number of points possible based on the indicators and demographic groups that the preparation program had data for. We then total the points in Table B, total the points in Table C, and divide them to get the final index score. As a reminder, more information is available in the ASEP manual. The final attachment is included only if your preparation program has a status of accredited warrant or accredited probation. This attachment provides the procedures for filing an informal review. Highlighted here is the reminder that the informal review must follow the instructions that are provided in the Texas Administrative Code and that the preparation program must note the reason for the request. Finally, highlighted at the bottom is the informal review deadline of 5 p.m. on December 12th. Please note that if your preparation program does not receive Attachment 3 in your letter, it means that you are not eligible per the Administrative Code to file for an informal review. Shifting now to the new certification class or category letter, this letter contains information about the results of analyses conducted under TAC 229.5. This letter provides notice of any certification class or category that did not meet the standard for this year for 3 years in a row, which requires revocation, as well as the overall pass rate evaluation results for all certifications. The first page provides notification if your EPP has a certification class or category that has failed for 3 consecutive years. The results are provided in this data table. Here, the EPP has failed to meet the standard for French EC12 for 3 years in a row. If there are no certification classes or categories subject to revocation, this table will read no data. This section of the letter concludes with notes about the data that were used. Attachment 1 of this letter provides the pass rate results for all of the certification classes or categories. This data table is similar to the former letter in that it provides the count of candidates that met the standard, the count evaluated, and the percentage result. There's then information about the number of years included, if a secondary evaluation was conducted, and the result, a flag for if the missed by 1 rule was effective, and the final evaluation outcome. Attachment 2 of the letter provides separate information for certification classes or categories where the EPP failed to meet the standard, but it is not yet year 3. If your EPP did not have any certification classes or categories fail this year, this data table will read no data. Finally, similar to the other letter, we provide informal review request information. Your letter will only contain this if the certification class or category is being revoked. We know that these letters contain a lot of information, and it is our hope that this guide has provided a useful starting point and addressed many of your questions. If you have additional questions about your status or your next steps, we encourage you to reach out to your Educator Preparation Program Specialist using a help desk ticket. Thank you.